All right, good morning, welcome back to TwinStick Garage. On today's episode, we're going to do a little bit of welding. Now, in the previous episode, when I was working on the Trans Am, you'll have noticed that I actually nicked the upper mount there, and I needed to actually weld that in. Now, my friend Blake from Flyweld Fab, he was nice enough to loan me his welder that was sitting in the shop here, and he kind of walked me through remotely on how to actually fix that and repair it, and I did a decent job. But as I mentioned in the video, I should probably get a TIG welder of my own and get some more lessons. So I got a TIG welder of my own, and I got my friend Blake to give me some lessons. Okay, so Arccaptain sent all this wonderful gear. We're gonna unbox it now and take a look. They even sent me a helmet, the foot pedal. They even gave old TwinStick some gloves so he doesn't burn his hands anymore. So we'll open it up and take a look here. Now this is the TIG 200 Pro, and so it's a TIG welder. They sell MIG welders as well, but I opted for the TIG because I wanted to, like I say, learn how to TIG weld. And I guess the real benefit of this box, or this unit, is it's very light. It's what, 26 pounds or something?
Yeah, I think 26, 27 pounds. So that's
way lighter than you used to?
Yeah, I mean, like usually, like for what I like is with weight, if it's portable, then it's super nice. You can take it to a job site. If I can pick this up with my bad hand and pull her out one-handed, I didn't even make any old man noises.
No groans?
No groans. This is very portable, very compact.
Well, yeah, it's amazing to me how small welders are getting. I mean, I'm from the old days when they first came out with MIG welders and mostly with stick. They were huge. They were monsters. You had to wheel them around the shop. You barely lift them to get them into your truck.
You should have seen the TIG welders of those days. They probably weighed 700-800 pounds. Right, and it was, you moved them with a forklift, and that's where they lived.
That's where they stayed.
Yeah, and then this is 10 times the machine of what the old ones would. So this is an AC/DC high frequency machine. So that means it when you have high frequency, it's aluminum capable AC/DC as well. But it's also the new technology is this is what they kind of call square wave inverters. So they alter the wavelength of the alternating current. Okay. So that's what they're kind of talking about with these square wave ones, and this is one of the square wave machines.
Sweet.
I'm a welder and I'm attracted to new machines.
Yeah, no, it's pretty slick.
So this will be the regulator.
You could plug it into the wall?
Yeah, dude.
And it won't trip?
Same with mine.
Yeah?
You get these patch cables, and it goes right into 120 volt. So...
Wow. I never would have thought you could weld with a regular plug.
You can't really do aluminum with
it needs a little more jam.
But you can do mild steel and stainless right off of any wall plug. Typically you want like a 20 amp breaker.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to start getting into the higher temperatures, then you're going to start popping
the breaker.
Amp. Yeah. So if you have to do this off of 110, like you're out in the field, sometimes you got no choice.
Oh, what about like a generator? Will that drive it?
Oh yeah.
So I could do welding out on the hunt.
Exactly. And you know what? If your generator has enough power, you can actually weld aluminum out in the middle of nowhere too. So
very cool.
If you break your boat in the middle of a lake, we bring this out. I fix it for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, you just plug it right in here, plug it into the wall, and then the machine self-regulates itself to read the amount of voltage coming in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Got a nice TIG torch here. It's a WP26 style torch. And you got a little button here, and this is just going to be an on-off button. So a lot of times in your TIG welding, you'll just do it by hand.
Okay.
TIG weld.
Oh, so you don't need the foot pedal?
Yeah, this is just an on-off switch though.
Okay.
The foot pedal is sensitive where you can give it more pressure. So if you had your heat set to exactly where you want it,
you could use the button.
This. And I'm sure there's going to be functions in here that we can set ramp up, pulse, ramp down time, so you can it does a self-feathering back when you let go too. So these machines are really advanced in that way. You can stick weld with it too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so basically any TIG welder you'll be able to stick weld with as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yep.
That's how I learned. That I can do, sort of. This fancy stuff with all your pulses and waves is where I need to be taught.
Well, let's check out your new lid, Mark.
Oh, a new helmet.
So right here, you got a warranty card. It's got a little QR code on it.
Yep.
And yeah, it says that that helmet's covered under a 24-month warranty.
Oh, nice.
This welder actually has a 5-year warranty, I saw in the instructions.
5 years.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So.
You don't get much for the 5-year warranty nowadays.
No, exactly. And you know, honestly, for the price point too, if you get 5 years out of it, then it craps out. It's well worth the money because this is a very affordable unit for somebody at home.
Oh yeah, they're under $1,000. That's what I couldn't believe when I checked it out. And that's why I'm so happy to get one into the shop here and give it a go, and we'll see how it works today.
It's going to be perfect. So with your welding helmet, you can see here there's 3 different settings. Weld, cut, grind, a delay, fast, medium, slow, and then you have your sensitivity here, and then you have your shades, okay? So if you go into grind mode, and you leave that on, it won't auto darken.
Because I've tried that before with my old welding helmet. As soon as you start grinding, it goes dark and you can't see anything.
Exactly. So you go to grind mode and it won't auto darken. If you go to cut, it's like if you're using a cutting torch.
Okay.
Okay, and you see how on here, it's a shade 10/shade 6.
Okay.
Okay, 11, 12 and 7, 8. So if it's the smaller number in the circle, then that will be the cut function. If you are on weld, it'll be the higher number that's not highlighted in the circle. So from right here on that notch, right now I'm on shade 9 for welding.
Yep.
10, 11, 12, 13.
13's the darkest?
13 would be the darkest. I kind of keep it around a shade 10 for TIG welding. That's where I like it. But you can adjust it down, adjust it up. And this one's really nice because with it, if you go to cut, you can go from shade 10 to shade 9 all the way down to shade 5. So if you're using a cutting torch or anything like that, you bring it down to about a shade 5. And then you can use your welding mask just as normal. Same with the plasma cutter, right? You know how when you're wearing a welding mask, it's almost too dark to see exactly where you're going. So now you can put it on grind mode or cut mode and then go down to like a shade 5, shade 6 and be able to see it much more clearly.
Good, that's awesome.
And then you have your delay. So delay is how fast the mask will switch to auto darken.
So you don't get flashed.
Exactly. And your sensitivity, low to high. So a higher sensitivity means it's going to auto darken faster.
Okay.
Faster, like if we have the sensitivity all the way on high, and I hold it up, it auto darkens. But now you go outside in your welding, and the sunlight's tripping it. So then you turn your sensitivity to low, and it won't auto darken when you're outside. So you can
until it gets a good blast of light from the weld.
Correct. So that's what those functions do.
Excellent. Thanks for the lesson.
You're welcome.
All right, Dr. Weld, what's all this stuff mean?
So you have your amperage control here, and you can see as it goes up. Right now, we have 200 amps available. That's where the 200 comes from.
Okay.
So this goes up to 200 amps. So you have your selectable amperage. Okay. Oh, and that's actually a button too. Okay. I'll figure out what that does in a second. Cool. Oh, I see.
It allows you to go through the different...
Yeah. AC balance, your hertz, post flow. Okay, so this is how you actually set up your welding and stuff like that for different pulse functions and whatever. Okay. So this is your wave selector, triangular versus square wave. So when old welders, think of the baseline right there, and alternating current, Nikola Tesla and all his wisdom created this. Well, it was a wave, an actual wave.
Yeah.
But then your peaks and your valleys were affected by the wave. So whenever you're going back and forth, and this is basically only for aluminum. I think maybe, I can't remember if you do magnesium in alternating current, but there's a couple other materials as well. But basically, all you're really going to use is aluminum for alternating current, AC. And so now you see how it's a square here?
Yep.
So now it's actually a square wave. So your whole time is spent in either...
while it's up there, it stays there for a set period of time and then back down.
It goes down. And you can control that, how much you want it to go with your hertz. So if I hit that, now I can crank it up to more hertz. and that's going to make it go faster between those. When I started welding with the big red machines, we were at 60 hertz. That's all you had.
Okay.
And then I started using the fancy blue machines that really started doing the square wave inverters. And then you had more adjustability, so you can go to 120 hertz and stuff like that. This is a triangular wave. This is a new one. Now you notice how sharp those peaks and valleys are. So it's a real sharp, fast method to get back in there because it's triangular wave. That's really good for thin material.
Because it just gives a little blast and gets out of there?
Exactly. So it's more concentrated. You need more amperage to make it work, but it's like it's dissipating or putting less heat input into the material.
Because it's just a quick burst.
So triangular wave is really good for thin material. So not on the cab corners, but like actually
up on
like
the door there.
Up on the door.
Sill, yeah.
I was using triangular wave, and I had to have the heat cranked. Where if I was in square wave, I would have to have about half that heat. So if we're doing beer cans, we're going to be on triangular wave.
Gotcha.
Okay. Right here, you see here as AC TIG, DC TIG. So this would be your stainless steel, your mild steels. Okay. So that's where you switch it. So DC now.
Okay.
And then we could still make it pulse and we could still make it do all those other functions too. But now we lose our wave because we're staying in DC negative. So there's no wave in between DC negative and DC positive.
Gotcha.
Okay. MMA. So this is their MMA setting, and this is just stick welding. Okay.
Ah, yes.
So it's a stick welder as well too. So also really handy to bring with you in the field. If we were plugged into 120 volt, you should be able to burn 332 rod. If you have a 20 amp breaker and you could turn it up a little more, you might be able to get 1/8 in certain situations. I mean, that's really functional.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure.
Yeah, and then you have different settings here. You get to control your amperage and your heat. It's pretty cool. So let's go into DC. So here you have 4T spot. Oh, cool. Let's see what that does. And 2T. So 2T is like your foot pedal, okay?
Right.
Okay, or if we're using the trigger on the gun, if you press the trigger, it's going. You release the trigger, it stops.
Okay.
But a lot of times, hand position, that can get really uncomfortable. You can get a lot of heat into your hand because you have to hold it in a very certain way, and you're going to melt yourself.
Okay.
So you go to 4T.
Yeah.
You press it once, it starts welding. You press it again, and it ramps itself down. And you adjust the settings in here.
So the button only starts it, but you don't have to actually hold the button all the way.
Exactly.
in.
I would use 4T a lot in food plants when I'm doing all the process pipe welding.
Okay.
Because I get into a certain situation and I have barely enough room for my hand to get through.
Yeah.
But
it's going to keep going. So all you need to do is just get the gun up.
Exactly. I'm literally wearing rubber gloves. So I can't get my hands in there. We're welding at a low heat and you're purging with argon. So you hit the trigger and you get your hands kind of set out of the way so you're not melting everything, and then I can start going around the pipe and get sanitary welds.
Very nice.
One of my other jobs I did.
Yeah. You've been welding for a while now, haven't you, Blake?
Exactly. I started when I was 16 and I turned 40 in a few weeks.
It's been a few years.
Yeah. And then spot weld. I haven't seen this function on any other welder. I'm excited to see what it'll do.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're on 2T. 4T, if you see here, it says pulse, yes. So it's pulse is available for those. When we go to spot, pulse, no. Okay? And if we are in aluminum, AC, then pulse is available too. So the way pulse goes, pulse on, pulse off. So now the pulse is on. So then we go through our settings here. Okay? This is 50%. This is your pulse. So it's you pulsing for 50% of the time. Okay? So here's your amperage. Our hertz is how fast it's pulsing. That's 0.5 hertz is how fast it's pulsing. This is your pulse, your downslope. So it'll go in between 10 amps and 130 amps right now. Okay. And it'll be 50% of the time. So it'll flash like a blinking light. It'll ramp up and ramp down, ramp up and ramp down. It's kind of like when you're tack welding. Okay. And so you can, it's kind of like a cheater mode. Right?
I need a cheater mode.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like a cheater mode, and we'll teach you what it does. But it's really nice that it has all of this functionality. This is the same amount of functionality as my green one. It's the same amount of functionality as the new red ones and the blue ones.
Unreal in that little box.
Yeah.
It's awesome. All right, let's try it out and see how it works. All right, so I picked myself up a little welding cart from Princess Auto, and we just put that together. Fits the welder perfectly, and again, I can't believe how light this is. I mean, literally, you can hold it with one finger. Who would have thought you can get a welder in 2024 that's that light? Of course, we got some argon, we got power. What else?
Okay, now we need to set up the torch for your gas to go to the torch, and this plugs in. Okay, so the gas will actually go through the inner tube, and then if you're using the hand control, this is the control for the hand control.
To give it the signal, right?
There you go.
Okay. Okay, so I got the gas line connected, and this would be the signal if we were using the button.
Exactly.
But right now I've got the pedal connected in there, so we'll leave that one out. Now, does this go in the positive or the negative?
We put this in the negative side.
Okay.
So we run straight polarity with TIG welding. Okay, and the way I like to remember straight versus reverse polarity is you have a minus sign, it's straight. There's nothing intersecting.
Okay.
You hook up your lead to the negative, and you're in straight polarity. The ground goes to the positive.
Yeah, because that's backwards to what I would normally think. I would, if I was betting, I would say the ground would be negative.
Exactly.
Okay, but straight polarity, we're going to do it backwards.
Yep. So you take this piece here, Mark, that screws in. You screw that in there. Okay.
And then the tungsten tip goes in after?
Yeah, and the cap on.
Right.
This piece goes in the back.
And then you shoot
Tungsten goes in.
Oh, okay.
And then you put the cap on the back. And you also have a little button cap for tighter areas.
Oh, so you don't have the long stem on the back.
Exactly. So we'll keep it with the shorter one. So this is a number 6 cup, number 5, and number 4.
I'm guessing they're just diameters?
Yep, diameters, and they measure in like 1/16 of an inch. So this is 6/16 of an inch, 3/8.
So is that the opening, the diameter of the opening?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, this thing's nice. Do I need to worry about angle at all?
That's actually, yep, that's actually a pretty decent angle. Okay. So when you see it start melting away a lot, then you have a lot of heat into it. I got the heat cranked up pretty good.
Okay.
I'll lower it down just for functionality for you right now.
Yeah.
And then, so one thing you can tell too is when it's a dark coloring,
Yep.
you have a lot of heat input. With stainless, you get your nice colors from the right heat input.
Okay.
Okay, so now what you want to do is, here's my angle, like this.
Yep.
And this is my inclination.
Right.
Okay, so you want nice and perpendicular for your angle.
Okay.
And then we want about that much inclination.
And how close to it?
Yeah, try to keep it a 1/16 to an 1/8.
Yeah. Don't touch.
Yeah, don't touch it, but close, but don't touch it. And all you're going to do is just do little steps.
Just walk my way along. Okay.
I'll do an inch.
Okay.
So you can see.
We'll see how the pro does it.
Sure. So I'm playing with the pedal. I'm only about halfway. And then you hold the gas for the post flow. Okay? You have a post flow. The argon is to push all the oxygen away from the weld so you don't get
Keep it
impurities.
clean.
Exactly.
Okay. So you were still holding the pedal even though you stopped welding?
I was completely relaxed off the pedal, but the machine has a post flow setting. So it's post flow.
Oh, it's still going to walk everything out of there.
Yeah, it's still going to have some gas.
Okay.
So that's all I did. I'm just holding it nice like this. We're not putting a whole bit of amperage in it. And all I'm doing is just taking little steps, little circles. You're doing that.
Okay.
Get yourself comfortable. Main thing for every type of welding. Then just hold it. Like you can actually hold onto the cup. It's not going to get so hot that you're burning yourself.
Yeah, okay.
Just
Oh,
like,
especially with these.
like a pencil, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Now, does it matter if you're pushing or pulling?
You want to push.
Pushing is the way to do it, okay.
Yeah, but this gives you more visibility. A little less heat. And move a little faster. There you go. See how nice and quiet it is too?
It's silent.
Yeah. Try to keep it concentrated right in the middle of the weld. And just do like little circles, not back and forth like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. See how it's fusing a little bit different too now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not bad at all, Mark. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, decent.
Yeah, right? And you can see how you have a nice, more rainbowy color here.
Yep.
And it starts getting a little darker. It's not that you're putting too much heat into it, it's that your actual rate of travel slowed down. So everything's ratios. It's not just heat, it's heat that's going into the metal.
Okay.
So if you have more heat, you go faster. If you have less heat, you go slower.
But how do you know that? How do you judge? That just comes with time.
Just time and practice.
Yeah.
Now this is an advanced type of welding, and sitting right there doing that is how you get good at it.
Just practicing.
There's no other way. It's seat time. You need seat time to get really good at it.
Too much heat?
No, you're all right.
Got to finish the job here. Oops, come on, Mark, finish up.
But see, that's where TIG welding's so nice, is where you kind of miss that spot.
You can go back.
Yeah, and then try to get in the habit of bringing your heat back slowly, not just stopping and pulling away.
Yes.
It's going to be a habit. It's going to take time.
Okay.
Don't feel bad about nothing.
But just stop and let it sit there.
Bring it back slowly.
As I got near the end, because I burnt it off there, yeah.
Exactly. So you see here, you actually have like a little bit of a crater. You see that little dot there, and you have a little bit of a crater? Mm-hmm. So if I was to go over it again, okay, I heat it up, and then I bring it back slow.
And
I
then
keep
just
the post low.
stand there and chill.
Now that crater kind of goes away. When you're welding things that you want to hold water, you need to be really conscientious of your starts and stops, because you'll rarely leak out of a bead, but your start and stops will get you. So that's why I like the pedals, so I can bring the heat back slowly, and then you can eliminate those craters.
And then it just kind of slowly cools and finishes up.
Exactly. Right. So now we got 4 little test pieces set up, okay? And you fuse this with no pulse.
Right.
Nice and quiet, nice and smooth. It actually runs really smooth, and I like how the fan is intermittent. So it only will turn the fan on when the machine calls because it gets too warm. My green one, the fan's on all the time. It drives me crazy. So that's quite nice.
Yeah, I still can't get over how silent it is. I can listen to my classic country music while I'm welding.
Exactly. Name anything better. Okay. So right now, I'm going to come turn the pulse on. Okay. So now we're on pulse. Okay. So I'm going to have half a second pre-flow. I'm going to turn them a little more pre-flow. About 1 second pre-flow. First pulse. Okay, cool. So we're going to be around 90 amps. Then I'm going to be around 50 amps in the background. Okay, so it says 1B for my background amperage. And our hertz times will go down to about 1 hertz. Okay, and that's kind of be as many times as it turns on and off in a second. Or 50% or 50%. Yeah, 50% would be all right. I like 50%. So it's going to be flashing a light on and off. It's going to do more for us. But we still have the ability to back the pedal off.
Okay, so you're still controlling the heat with the pedal.
Exactly. If we had the trigger, it would be whatever you set the machine to.
It's just going to walk, okay.
Exactly. And every time it snaps on and then cools down, move it.
Oh, that's cool.
Cheater mode.
Cheater mode.
Got good coloring.
Oh man, that's
nice
awesome.
and even.
It's not going to look that good when I do it, but
if you've seen how it goes on,
yep.
When it's on, you hold it. When it goes off, move it about 1/8 of an inch.
Okay.
On, hold it. It's going to make a nice big circle. Do it that way. And I was basically wide open on the pedal, but you can back it off a little bit.
Okay.
More heat. There you go. Make sure it's fusing the whole way.
Oh yeah.
So get a little closer. There you go. Okay, stop it there. So
now that I let off again.
That's all right. That's okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my hertz. So I'm going up to 10 hertz now. We were at 1 hertz.
So it's going to be faster then?
It's going to be a lot faster. It's going to turn this into a disco dance. So if we do that, now give this a watch. Okay?
Yep. Holy cow. So you just kind of do this continuous movement.
Exactly.
What an awesome little welder.
Right? So that's your basic for your pulses. Everything else is just going to be a lot of playing with it and finding out where you want your heat and your background temperature. Because when I'm saying the background temperature, it's flashing it on and off, but it's not completely turning it off.
Yeah, it's doing the high mark and then the low.
Yeah, going to take a little bit of playing with for yourself to find what works for you.
But then once I get a hertz and on a high and low, that kind of matches, because I seem to want to go faster.
Yeah, you can give this a shot. Keep it wide open on the pedal.
Yep.
Try to be really perpendicular here, okay? And close, about a 1/16 of an inch.
Okay.
Okay, as close as you can get without touching.
Nope, too close.
Yeah, a little too close. Cool.
Now it's going, I see. Teaching twin sticks to weld.
There you are, and then you can stop there. So something else you can do with pulsing like that.
Oh, that is awesome. A fancy welder can make half-ass welder like myself look half decent, huh?
There you go. So now I'm just going to turn.
Wow.
I'm going to turn the pulse back. Okay, and if you
So you're setting the time, or you're the high and the low?
I'm setting the timer that is flashing on and off.
Okay.
It's the hertz.
So you're adjusting the hertz.
And remember when I was trying to talk
So
you
proud
through,
of that.
when I was trying to talk you through welding,
Last Saturday?
right?
Yeah.
And I said just lay the rod down and weld over it.
Yeah, and like a hot glue gun.
Exactly. So you can do that with stainless. Give me this chair.
Okay.
And then look at that, Mark. You see how you have all those nice little C's and stuff
I
like
know.
that?
I'm so thrilled. I'm so tickled. That's the best welds I've ever done.
Yeah. And it's just
It's doing all the work, not
when
me.
you-
I'm just dragging it along.
hey, use the machine you have.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It makes it more accessible. And you look at the heat input and stuff that we have, this is all more consistent. So there's way more advantages to having pulse and knowing how to use
More
it,
cheater modes.
right? And it's just like usually you get an older guy like me that's stubborn, and I learned the old school way, and I don't want to change.
I don't want to use something fancy like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guess what? It works, and it works well. So now I am just going to hold it here. I'm going to get the puddle going.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to lay down the rod. I'm not even going to add, I'm not going to dip how you watch
Like
me
we were
normally
doing
dip.
on the Duke there, yeah.
Exactly. I'm just going to run this rod right over, run it right over top.
Okay.
So I get a nice puddle established. And this is what I was trying to tell you is, if you have enough heat, you just put it right over top of the rod, like a hot glue gun, or brazing.
Just forget the rod's in there.
Yeah,
But now it's going to build it up.
yep. And you can do this exact same without any pulse whatsoever. But if you have the settings,
Why not?
utilize them.
Yeah. So we're what, 90 at the top, 50 at the bottom?
Yeah, around that. Okay. And now you can see we
yeah,
have a
it's built
nice
up.
little round, and you can see here it's more flattened.
Yep.
And now this is built up.
Because now we're putting more material
We're
in
adding
there.
fill.
So this would be a stronger weld than that?
Correct.
Yeah.
It will be, especially if we do any grinding. I start grinding to blend this out and round it off so it looks like it hasn't been welded.
There's not much there.
I'm removing too much material. Here, we added material so we can remove more and have a strong weld still.
Grind it smooth, polish it up.
Correct.
Nice.
Okay. Just little things like that. Right?
Oh, I love it.
Want
Can't
to
wait,
give it a shot?
can't wait to play with this thing, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so old twin sticks ended up touching, got a little too close and touched the tip, which ended up corroding the end there, and we had to clean that up.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to
You want to get close, but not too close.
Exactly. And so we referenced TIG welding several times.
Yes.
Okay? TIG's an acronym, tungsten inert gas. That's where it comes from. Here's your tungsten.
Here's
There's your
inert
inert
gas.
gas. There you are. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing as what I did when I tried to talk you through the Trans Am, is just laying it down.
Yep.
Because I didn't want to talk you through pulsing and a whole bunch of stuff over there.
I wouldn't have had a clue.
Yeah, well, on our way out the door through FaceTime. So, I get the puddle, and then I just run over it. Now, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not doing any weaves. I'm not walking the cup. Okay, when we're doing more stainless steel fabrication at work, everything gets ground. What I'm trying to do in situations at work is I'm trying to build up.
To put material in there.
Exactly. I'm not thinking about how weld is good or how good the weld is going to look on Instagram.
How sexy it looks on Instagram, yeah.
I'm thinking about what's going to be the best after I grind it off. So that's just kind of why I did it like that. I can do nice passes and dip and walk the cup and do all that fancy stuff, but so now we have the nice little dimes. Okay, so how I weld at work is how I want the finished product to be. Okay, if I want to get it done fast, I'm just running over top of it because I'm grinding it off anyways and I want it to look good. If the weld's going to stay and be visible, then I'll make a nice visible weld.
Like you did on the Duke.
Exactly, right? So, what I like to teach people how to weld is I really stress my weld angle in relation to the weld, where the weld's going to be, and then the inclination. When you're doing stainless steel and TIG welding, you can really lay this over and it'd still be effective. It performs better than you'd think. You don't have to be exactly perpendicular. You can really lay it over and then run a bead that way.
Right.
The other thing I like to really stress is how to hold the rod. You got to be comfortable. Some people hold it like this. People hold it all different ways.
Yep.
The way I like to hold it is 3 fingers. Hold it like you're holding a cigarette. And then your thumb. Okay? So, and be able to shuffle the rod through is very important because then you can do a whole...
You can keep going.
Keep going. You don't have stops and starts. And so when you can do that, then I can move my 2 hands, keep shuffling it. Because if I'm holding it out here, it's really hard to be accurate where I need to hit it.
And it'll dance around.
If I'm here,
you're running out of material.
I can hit it every time.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just more of an accuracy that way. So if you can practice shuffling the rod, that's going to make you a better welder. So when you do the rod, cigarette, I stretch my hands out. I grab with my thumb, bring them in.
Bring it in. Okay.
Just stretch it out like that. I took a welding rod home. I sat there and I watched TV, and I just fidgeted.
Yeah.
Ran it all the way through.
Flip it over and do it
Flip
again.
it over again. So take a rod in with you when you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
Take a thicker rod, because it's going to be easier than a thinner rod.
Yeah.
And just practice.
And just get that movement down.
That's everything with TIG welding, is just practicing. Yeah, let's give the spot welding a try. So we're on a DC TIG and 2T, 4T, or spot. I don't know what this does. I've never seen it before. I'm excited. Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
So this is thinner stainless steel, 2B finish. It looks like it's about 20 gauge. It's gonna go wide open.
Now you don't need to move around with spot weld. You're just trying to make a little dimple.
You can tell, because I'm burning through on the back. If I do this,
It worked.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Spot welds are stronger than people give it credit for.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, Mark, so now what I'm going to get you to do,
Okay.
switch that to aluminum. So what do we need to do to switch it to aluminum?
Oh, I forget, Blake.
The top one
DC
is-
TIG?
Yep, press it.
MMA, no, that's
is
stick.
welding.
AC TIG.
There you go.
Okay.
So now we're at 3/16, so we're gonna juice it up a bit. Okay.
Okay.
We'll go around 150. Okay.
We don't want spot anymore.
Nope.
2T?
2T. There you go.
Because it's still running the pedal, yeah.
And we're not doing pulse.
No pulse.
Okay.
And what's the last one down here for again?
This is your wave. So we're in a triangular wave.
Okay.
We want to be in a square wave for this.
Square wave.
There you are.
Perfect.
I'm going to turn up the hertz to about 120 hertz.
How come?
Personal preference.
Here.
So you can fuse with aluminum as well, right?
Okay, yeah, same.
Yeah, it would be kind of the same thing. But with what I brought you, we're going to want to add fill. I'm going to fuse tack it.
Oh, it's, you can tell there's more jam going on there.
Exactly, and you can hear it. You can hear the pitch. Now you can actually hear the weld. That's because we're...
you got a friend in me?
Exactly, we're using AC.
You got a friend.
And I'm going to get a puddle going, and then I'm going to start dipping.
Okay. Beauty.
Now you see there's some impurities in there?
Yep.
That is no fault of the welder. That was dirty material that I could have cleaned up.
Oh.
Okay? When I'm watching the puddle, you can see those black little dots start melting off the side. Mm-hmm. It's just dirty metal. Okay, so
Kind of like when you were welding on LBL.
Exactly.
40-year-old.
Exactly. And that's how you do that.
It's beautiful.
So what I do is I get a puddle going, okay? And it starts kind of swirling around and becoming a liquid puddle. Mm-hmm. And then I dip it in, and then that puddle gets bigger, and then I move it just a little bit.
But then you take the rod back out?
And I bring the rod back out, and then it starts kind of concaving. It gets a little shallow, and then, but it's still a liquid puddle. Then I dip into that concave paste, and I build up, move, dip, move. And you want to watch how it gets concave. And that's...
But it'll go concave, but then when you dip, it'll bubble up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so now I see what they're talking with their arc dash technology. Aluminum, it does a really nice weld.
Well, if you know what you're doing.
I was kind of skeptical. Well, actually, Mark, I'm pretty proud of you for that, okay?
The first inch was just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened.
First inch is the best inch. But honestly, this is a really good machine, especially for the price point, Mark. Like I'm pretty blown away with it.
For what it could do for under $1,000, I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, you get the warranty with it too, right? It's not like you're just left in the dark. Here's your machine, buy another one when it breaks. No, they stand by their product. It's ANSI certified, so it's a quality machine. It is. And so you started off real well, but then what happened was here is you kind of started fumbling with the rod. So you can kind of see what it's going to do. Mm-hmm. And then, because sometimes you don't realize you're hooking something on your pants or wherever, and then you get to a certain point and you're snagging up and you have to stop your weld. So make sure you can actually do a little pass and then start from there. So I'm going to establish my arc.
Wow.
So that's quite nice. So I was probably could have had a little more heat for this thickness of material.
Okay.
On both of them. So I just went and I dipped every second pulse.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was going to ask, are you supposed to dip every second pulse?
I found it worked like that quite all right. And
quite all right. That's amazing.
it's not as shiny as I'd like it to be.
Okay.
But if we...
It's still hot?
Yeah, it's still hot. pliers, and you can see the consistency a little more because it takes away some of that white oxidization.
Wow.
Okay, so if you want to try it, I'll set it up a little bit again, because when you're pulsing, you need more heat than what you're doing without pulse, because it's letting itself cool down and it's flashing a hot spot.
Very quickly, but it's not continuous.
Exactly. So crank this up to about, because I was wide open on the pedal.
Okay.
We'll go about there, 160 and 120 in the background.
Damn.
So every time it goes,
Move.
you can hear it. When it's the lower pitch and it's cooler, that's when you move, and then when it's going to be heating up, that's when you throw in a fill rod. Wide open.
Yeah, I can't move the rod to save my life.
That's all right. But you see, now it's actually like a nice shiny weld. You're getting a lot of control. You just need to work on your rhythm.
Yeah, I got to get this
And
rod
that's it.
working through the gloves.
Yeah.
Oops. I'm using too much heat.
It's all right.
I'm melting it.
No, see, that's exactly what's happening. You're using too much heat. But it's not that you're using too much heat. It's the metal is heating up the whole time.
Right.
And then as you're getting towards the end, it's that much hotter because there's that much less material for it to absorb all the heat. So
Because
it's
yeah, it
already-
just started going molten in there.
and you changed nothing really, right?
Yeah.
And it's going super molten. So now you need to like slowly back your heat off as if the puddle's telling you it's too warm.
When you're getting near the end.
Exactly.
Oh, pretty cool, Blake. I could tell I still need a lot of practice, but this is, I've got the machine to do it now.
I think you do. I think this is a pretty phenomenal piece of equipment.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Arccaptain sent this to me.
Yeah.
If you want to get your own, go check them out. I got the link down below on where you can get yourself one of these. They'll ship them Canada, US, I think worldwide actually. And yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So hope you enjoyed the episode. I mean, I learned how to weld a little bit. I'm going to need some more practice. But yeah, thanks again, Blake. You're a great teacher.
You betcha. Good student.
That's pretty sweet, Blake. Nice work.
I'm really impressed with this machine, Mark. It's a good one.